afternoon, this evening, this after morning. As you see, we've taken a bit of poetic license with our menu today, in honor of you-know-who, whose name graces the dish at the top of the deal. Lop is, of course, a lop, a longiop, but a sward of greens, a Robert Sward of greens. There's a dish that none of you had a chance to get yet, because I wanted to hold it so the latecomers would get a chance. We have mussels on the half shelly, a loaf of bread to go with thou, and a glass of wine. Most of you have been imbibing, I see. At least that's why I can get a laugh out of you, I guess. Okay, Safa is not with us today, unfortunately. She was otherwise engaged, and the weather seemed inclement for a hot soup, so you'll have to come by India Joze for a little Sappho. But we do have, one of my very favorite poets is, of course, Kabir. It seems like Kabiriani is a perfect sort of dish. Of course, the greatest poet in the English language, William Shakespeare. Some of you had some asparagus, I believe. S.T. Coleridge slaw. Negative space is something we all, as poets, look for. The openings in which meanings can slide. Alexander Pope, not my favorite poet. What can I say? It's a hot day, and that's about as rhyming as I can get today. But we do have some chicken for those of us that are going there. The desserts, we started with some Robert Frosted cupcakes, of course. We're down to the Robert Frosting, I'm afraid, but we do have a heavier pound cake coming out shortly, an Ezra pound cake. I see that many of you appreciated the spotted Emily Dickinson. Let's see. We're going to have some s'mores, some Sumerian Moors, shortly. And most of you haven't been drinking any of the Hafizi water. I'm not sure why, but we do have it in plenitude. And anyway, I want to thank you all for coming and gracing us with your presence on this warm day. And if you've got questions, I have answers.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Joe.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rabbi Eli Cohen. What a delight and an honor for all of us to gather today in this celebration. I'm going to share with you 3 Hebrew words. Can you learn that much? Can you help me with that part? I'm sure you can. It's very simple. It's olam. Try that. Olam. Chesed. That gives you that nice chesed. Yibaneh. And it means the world will be built through love. So if you can sing it with me, that would be really great. And then we'll do it in English after that. Olam chesed yibaneh, yaladai, dai, dai, la 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 la. You can do that. Olam chesed yibaneh, yaladai, dai, dai, yalada da da. Olam chesed yibaneh. May it be so.
Tell us what that meant.
So yes, the world will be built from love. And if we do our part, God does God's part. So, first of all, Mazel Tov, right?
Yeah.
There's a wonderful celebration. Wow, so many years together. Gloria and Robert. Where's Robert?
Right there.
So good, nice. Surround us with the energy. So many years together, and how I know you've touched each other so deeply, and you two have touched so many of us so deeply. And your gathering here of family and friends and community is a real testimony to that. And it's an honor to be here to celebrate with you. We have a blessing in our tradition that I'd like to share with you. Baruch Shehaba Hakol Lichvodo. Blessed is the one whose beauty can be found in all creation, who created all of us in the divine image, and who gives joy to loving companions, and who brings joy and gladness, bride and groom, pleasure, song, delight, laughter, love, harmony, peace, and companionship. May there always be heard in the streets of our city. May there always be heard in the streets of Jerusalem the jubilant voices of those who come together. Blessed is the one who causes loving companions to rejoice in each other. Amen. And may we also bless the source of life who has given us life and kept us going and brought us to this very, very special moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. And you can say, Amen. Amen. So we have an opportunity for the celebration to continue. So I'm going to ask Akiva, also some of you met him as a Kindle, a man with many names, if he'd come forward and share some music with us.
Thank you so much for having us all be here. It's been wonderful just knowing both of you, in your art, in your writings, in your community involvement, and in just the beauty that you bring to this community here. So I want to sing a couple of songs. I'm going to begin with Kenny Rogers, Through the Years, because I know that a lot of people probably, and if there are lovers in here who have also been together for quite some time, maybe you're looking at each other and also reveling in the years you've been together. I can remember when you were there, when I didn't care for anyone but you. I swear we've been through everything there is. Can't imagine anything we've missed. Can't imagine anything the two of us can't do. Through the years you've never let me down. You've turned my life around. The sweetest days I found with you. Through the years I've never been afraid. I've loved the life you've made, and I'm so glad I stayed right here with you through the years. I can't remember when I used to be who I trusted, who I listened to before. I swear you've can imagine needing someone so, but through the years it seems to me I need you more and more. Always through all the good and bad, I know how much we had. I've always been so glad to be with you. Through the years, it's better every day. You kissed my tears away, as long as it's okay. I'll stay with you through the years, when everything went wrong. Together we were strong. I know that I belong right here with you. Years, I never had a doubt. We'd always work things out. I've learned what life's about. I'm loving you through the years. It's okay, I'll stay with you. Yeah, today, oh, yeah, me. Yeah, today, oh, yeah, me. For all the accomplishments that both Gloria and Robert have had in their lives, and they have done this their way. This is my way, Frank Sinatra. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. true. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it all and spit it out. I faced it all and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. Oh, what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of the one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Yes, you did it your way.
I'm going to open it up for some toasts and some offerings. Anyone who wants to say anything. But first, I just want to wish Robert happy 80th birthday. So we know, I've known Robert for over 25 years now, and
No, 35 years.
well, it's a long time, whatever it is.
36 actually.
And I just want to say what a pleasure it is that you've been in my life and our family's life, and two of the things that really stand out when I think of you, one is your preternatural sensitivity. I guess that goes with the calling of a poet. He's just has a well-honed moral and compassionate sense. And more than that, anybody who's heard Robert read his poems knows he's one of the funniest guys on the planet. And so, one of the earliest times I can remember meeting Robert, he was reading some poems in this kitchen here, my siblings were there, and we were all in stitches. It was, I don't even remember what a poem it was, but we knew this was the guy from all. He was Jewish, he was from Chicago, and he was funny, so. Anyway, happy birthday, Robert. Thank you so much. But before I want to say one other thing, before you read a poem. I want to say something to Mom, too, because believe it or not, I have two small children. I'm 59 years old, and I had my first kid when I was 50. I don't know where they are, but I truly did not appreciate my parents until I had kids. And I think that's a cliche and a truism, but it's an amazing job, and it's a hard job, and thank you for doing such a great job.
Oh, I did.
But the two other things I want to say is that have been inspiring about Mom is the fact, not only is she a great artist, but that she goes in day out to her studio like a good artist should, and gets totally absorbed in her work, and that's an amazing lesson for me as a piano player and an improviser, just that day in and day out dedication. Robert too, of course. But more than that, I guess the thing that really sticks, and I think I have it, and my siblings have it, and probably not in spades like you do, but it's your sense of gratitude towards life. That you, every day, you say, I'm the luckiest woman in the world. Right?
I believe that.
You do say that. We've been hearing that since we were little kids, and she really believes that, and that's an amazing gift to have your parent tell you every day that she is blessed in so many ways and wouldn't wish for a different life. It's maybe somebody even said that the most blessed life you can have is one in which you don't want anything to be different. And I think Mom can truly say that. So, and then let's toast to Mom, and then I also want to just toast them together. Who could be a more caring, sensitive, wonderful couple who both give each other very kind and constructive advice. Mom's going to be a little barbed at times, I think, but Robert takes it really well. Cut out that line, I should say. It doesn't work. But here's to both of them and to each of them separately. So I think Robert's going to read a few poems, and after the poems that we can offer more toasts and offerings. So,
Ode to Santa Cruz for Sandy Leiden. I love the city. I mean, it's a celebration of our life together and of our friendships, of living in a place that means everything to us. I mean, this is home, and we're blessed and privileged to be here. This is Ode to Santa Cruz for Sandy Leiden. You want a sunrise? Asked the poet. I'll give you a sunrise. Eggplant, cirrus clouds, pinky, smoky, blue and gray, pink, moss pink, pink nether flower, sunrise, sunrise, yellow, white, silicon chip foghorn, windchime, no color haze, sunrise, sunrise, old city of mystical arts and live soup, antique bathhouse, casino, Riva fish house, a busload of German tourists applauding the sunrise, clam chowder, scrub blue light, melon balls and watermelon shooters, arcade, pink neon, roller coaster, heart-shaped mirror, kaboom! House begins to dance and moves in waves, 3 and 4 feet high. Weight machines swaying, mirrors rattling, a sidewalk of broken glass, a street filled with jewels, Loma Prieta, the earthquake of the dark hill. This place, always coming back from a disaster, natural beauty and unnatural events. Jazz, blues, canoes, tattoos. I bow and give thanks to the muse. Santa Cruz, oh Santa Cruz. And can't help but read this poem for Gloria. On an earlier birthday, looking for love in Merriam-Webster, which is something I do when I'm blocked or wanting the language, the starter in language, to get me going on something. So I looked up the word Gloria, also the word love, and that was the source of this. Beautiful, splendid, magnificent, delightful, charming, appealing, says the dictionaries. And that's how I start. But I heard her say, make it less glorious and more Gloria. Imperious, composed, skeptical, serene, lustrous, irreverent, she's marked by glory. She attracts glory. Glory, I say. Glory, glory. Is there a hallelujah in there, she asked, when I read her lines 2 and 3. Not yet, I say, looking up from my books. She protests. Writing a poem isn't the same as really attending to me. But it's for your birthday, I say. Pouting, playfully cross, that's the price you pay when your love's a poet. She has chestnut-colored hair, old-fashioned Clairvaux lips, moist brown eyes, arms outstretched, head thrown back, she glides toward me and into her 7th decade. Her name means to adore, to rejoice, to be jubilant, to magnify and honor as in worship, to give or ascribe glory. I love, oh Gloria, I do, I do. And I couldn't read a few poems without including a couple dogs. And, this is The World According to Shelby. And Shelby's here, but Shelby's aging and having a really hard time. 16 years old, and a muse. Many of you are muses for me, too. So this is A World According to Shelby. I pick up the dog's voice. Somehow I can sometimes do that. And so the dog is the speaker. The world is going to the dogs, and I'm the dog the world is going to. Shelby here. S-H-E-L-B-Y. Lift your leg. What? You want my resume? Sniff here. Ruff, ruff. If I can smell your ass, I know what you got up your sleeve. Now, shut up and let me bark. For starters, food has a way of anchoring thought. I'll tell you that. The stomach and the heart, they're the same thing. But I want to know, after 10,000 years of domestication, what does it mean to be a dog anymore? Of course, it's true. 90% of our genetic makeup is the same as yours. I read shit like that. You need, but you think I need what? An interspecies relationship? Give me a bow, give me a wow, give me a bow wow wow. No deep throat for dogs, no twisted jelly shaft, no pearl beaded prolong ring. Remember, your woof woof is connected to your bow wow. Be cool. Love like war. Winner is who stays longer. You know, sometimes it's just good to hang out with your own kind. And I just want to thank everybody people have come from some distances. Gloria's daughter from Massachusetts, my sister Betty, who's come out here from Chicago, Heidi, who's come down from Oregon. I moved in all sorts of ways. This is called In a World of No. All that I cared for was the race of dogs, that and nothing else. To whom but dogs can one appeal in the wide and empty world? That's a quote from Franz Kafka. Again, the dog is speaking, Shelby. In a world of no, dogs are a yes. 68 million dogs in America, and they understand there's a fundamental human reaction to everything, and it's no. No. Dogs hate hearing shit like that. People, it's all no and no and no. They look at a dog sometimes, and the dog is on its back, say, on someone's lawn, legs in the air, rolling and bouncing. This is the hand I was dealt. I'm a dog, says the dog. It's not a problem. But people, look at me. I don't have time for this, you're thinking? Something better is going to come later? No, it won't. As Ram Dass says, this is all you get. This is all you get. All knowledge, the totality of all questions and answers are contained in the dog. Do you know who said that? Kafka. That's right, Kafka. Bow wow, bow wow, bow wow now. And I want to thank Jack Foley, who's here, and Adele. Jack did the intro for this book, and I'm very grateful to him. Another long-time friend. And he does the poetry show out of Berkeley, Oakland. So I'm just going to find this in my table of contents. It's a poem called Turning 60. So this is called Turning 60. Schopenhauer says, the first 40 years of life give us the text. The next 30 supply the commentary on it. And so just as in the poem for Gloria, I go to the dictionary for inspiration, for the word love and for Gloria. In this case, this is Turning 60, which is 20 years ago. Someone said, what was it? That the sun ends each day, the moon ends each month. I don't know. Anyway, this is called Grammar as Hymnal. seeking solace, grammar as hymnal. Seeking solace in a review of grammar, I turned to Strunk and White's Elements of Style. Standing at attention, opening to the section on usage, I chanted and sang, uniting my voice with the voices of others, the vast chorus of the lovers of English. We sing of verb tense, past, present, and future. We sing the harmony of simple tenses. We lift our voice in praise of action words and the function of verb tense. We sing of grammar, which is our compass, providing as it does clues as to how we might navigate the future. At the same time, it illuminates the past. As a teacher, I talk, that's present. For 30 years as a teacher, I talked, that's past. It may only be part-time, but I will talk, that's future. And then the last section, I'm living the future perfect. I will have invoked the muse. I will have remembered to give thanks, knowing our origins are in the invisible and that we once possessed boundless energy, but we're formless and that we are here to know the things of the heart through touching. I will have remembered, too, that there is only one thing we all possess equally, and that is our loneliness. I will have loved, you will have loved, we will have loved. Thank you. Thank you very much. Gloria and I have agreed to exchange not only vows, but to renew our relationship after 25 years. I've been, you're signed on, you've got tenure, I've got tenure, someone has tenure. And for that reason, I've asked Rabbi Eli Cohen to do the honors. So this is like a renewal of our
Spontaneous.
vows.
That's great. Gloria, you willing? It's entirely in your hands, hon.
I sure do. How very sweet. How very nice.
It's very sweet.
Very sweet.
You know what? Let's welcome them and welcome each other with this chant. It's in English, don't worry. It goes like this. Many faces, many voices, one heart, one home. Many faces, many voices, one heart, one home. Welcome, welcome, welcome home. Welcome, welcome, welcome home. Let's welcome each other. Many faces, many voices, one heart, one home. Many faces, many voices, one heart, one home. Welcome, welcome, welcome home. Welcome, welcome, welcome home. Two lovers, two beautiful punams, one heart, one home.
That means faith. In case you don't know.
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Gloria and Robert, who are here today with gratitude for all the blessings of their years together. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy Blessed One, protect and deliver you. May you continue to enjoy God's blessing in the new song of your years to come, embraced by the love of your children and grandchildren, your family, your friends, and your community, so that you may always live in joy and gladness, in peace and companionship. And we will say, Amen.
And we say thank you.
So I'm wondering, let me hold your glass if I might.
Yes,
Actually,
you
that's
may.
a good opportunity for a...
Yes, yes. You may have the rest if you want.
And I'm going to hold these for you.
Yeah.
And if maybe you would take, you have each other by the hand ready? Take both hands.
Oh, yeah.
And Robert, if you would look at Gloria and say to her, Ani lidodi,
Anila Dali,
vidodi li.
Vidodi Li.
I am for my beloved. I am for my beloved.
I am for my beloved,
And my beloved is for me.
and my beloved is for me.
And if you would look at Robert and say, Ani lidodi,
Enil Eldodi,
Vidodi li.
Vidodi li.
I am for my beloved. I am for my beloved.
I am for my beloved,
And my beloved is for me.
and my beloved is for me.
Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God shine the presence towards you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. May God carry the presence towards you and grant you the most precious gift of all, the gift of peace. Amen. You, family, friends, and community, do you support them on this next chapter of their journey together? If so, say we do. In that case, we all say to you, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tavu, Mazel Tavu, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tavu, Mazel Tavu, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tavu, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Yelanu once more. Simin Tavu, Mazel Tavu, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tavu, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tavu, Mazel Tavu, Simin Tov, Yelanu.
What a wonderful thing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can do it again.
Mazel Tov.
I got two.
Gloria wants to do it again. Let's sit together.
Okay.
Here's your
So I guess I
poetry.
should, yeah, thank you.
And Gloria, don't
Gloria?
forget this now.
Oh, thank you.
L'chaim.
I am to you. Okay. Want to sit over there?
Yeah.
I'm Marty, and I'm connected to Robert and Gloria in so many ways. Through art, through poetry, through just loving life, through getting out and having lunch once a week with Gloria, from my husband helping with their computer problems, from gardening, from dog grooming. And so that's where I'm going to do a song, and that's where this song comes from all those things that we do for each other in life and in friendship, whatever it comes. So, whatever it takes in this moment I give, whatever it takes in this moment I give. Spirit leads and I will follow. We're planting the seeds of the love the world needs. We're planting the seeds. We're planting the seeds of the love the world needs. Spirit leads and I will follow. Whatever it takes in this moment I give. Whatever it takes in this moment I give. Spirit leads and I will follow.
Hi, my name is Lucy Day, and I met Robert and Gloria about 10 years ago. I'm a poet, and I attended one of Robert's poetry readings in San Francisco, and I had dinner afterward with him and Gloria, and we've been friends ever since, and I really feel blessed to have them in my life. And now my husband, Richard Levine, and I would like to read 3 poems in their honor. Richard is mostly a fiction and nonfiction writer, but I have been sort of an influence on him, and he started writing poetry. He's going to read Turning 70 at a B&B at Clear Lake in honor of birthdays.
Turning 70 at a B&B on Clear Lake. This was last year. Suppose for a moment I hadn't turned 70 that day, and the jagged hills didn't monitor my heart, nor the grebes on the lake float their separate ways. Lost friends and lovers flitted through my mind like the yellow-bellied warblers in the sedge, Suppose for a moment I hadn't turned 70 that day. I was reading a book about Caravaggio, short-lived sinner saint of light and shadow, as the grebes on the lake fluttered their separate ways. Then two of the birds paired off, their fluid necks and pressed breasts forming a heart that soothed my own. Suppose for a moment I hadn't turned 70 that day. My wife and I held hands and stared in wonder as the mates dove down for some grass to offer each other, while the rest of the grebes floated their separate ways. They rose to their feet and skied off together so fast and so far they left a wake of winking water. Suppose for a moment I hadn't turned 70 that day and seen the grebes on the lake dance away.
And I'm going to continue with the sonnet called Watching the Grebes, to continue the story of the love of the grebes and to honor the love of Robert and Gloria. Watching the grebes. A taut blue sky is stretched above the lake, which glitters like a rippling field of stars in early sun. Two western grebes take a morning swim, but they don't go far before they plunge. When they emerge, beaks filled with weeds, they stand. It's time to dance. Long necks held high, black crests and white cheeks side by side. They glide as though on skis, advance toward us. Standing on the balcony, we see the shining wake they leave behind. My love, I'd like to be as easy as the grebes, who seem content to find a dancing partner as the new day starts, a dark-winged bird that knows the steps by heart. And now, Richard is now going to read a poem called Words in honor of Robert as a writer.
And Lucy's going to follow it with a poem called Artists in honor of Gloria. This is a poem called Words. It's actually a poem for not only writers, but Jewish writers. I'll tell you the world's worst word, Cousin Robert whispers, if you swear never to say it aloud. Cross my heart and hope to die, I answer, as he looks around and breathes into my ear, a harsh, unfamiliar, fearful sound that might be from the Haggadah, Grandpa, a stoop-shouldered, unsmiling man who can barely speak English after more than 40 years here, recites in rapid-fire Hebrew, bending back and forth, not caring that we don't understand or even listen to him, but talk about baseball or the price of things, houses, new cars, wedding rings. From my 6-year-old point of view, freedom came not from Egypt, but from Brooklyn, when the Jewish race moved to suburban lands, where grass turned green, not yellow. Trees weren't wizened or imprisoned in wire cages at their base, and some became all red come fall. On holidays, we drive back in serried ranks of Buicks, Oldsmobiles, and Cadillacs with big tail fins and small windows, like squadrons of invading tanks. And I learned to read by saying aloud the signs along the way that sometimes rhyme or nearly do. Tailor, shoe repair, hair salon, U.S. mail, or if not, are still beautiful to hear, like stationery store. This Passover, when Grandpa finishes and we can finally eat the dry baked chicken and fried potato latkes Grandma makes, like hockey pucks, my dad jokes, then gives out, based on grades, newly minted silver dollars she has saved. I always got the most. I fly, pockets jingling, through ancient peeling hallways with cracked black and white floor tiles that reek of stale cooking grease and pee, down the street from the public school to the small wooden shul where Grandpa spends his life, shouting as loud as I can, fuck, 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 fuck. All ceremony stops. Windows open wide, and dumbstruck heads are stuck out, while I turn back and breathless yell, fuck, 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 realizing for the first time that words, chosen well, can cast a magic spell that holds the world in its fast grip.
And now I'm going to read a poem called Artists in honor of Gloria. This is about some of her colleagues. And I'm just reading 3 sections of this poem. Artists. The first section I'll read is called Musician. Rolling his fibrous 1,000-pound tongue, a humpback croons a long, lush song. Ah, what a wail of a male I am. In a 7-octave voice, swimming in a sine wave, he slides through the sea, a one-man band blending pure and percussive tones in symphonic ratios with rhymed refrains. You'd think he'd studied Mozart and Bach as he leaps on beat, landing with a 100-ton splash to belt an encore for the salmon and bass. Architect. The satin bower bird weaves an avenue of twigs and sticks with foot-high walls adorned with blossoms, beads, and poker chips. He makes saliva and berries crushed and mixed, daubs it on walls brushing with waxy leaves, then takes a flower in his beak, dances down the bower, singing, flapping his wings. When he wins a mate, the walls collapse as they conjugate. Afterward, she flies away to make her own place. She'll raise her young alone in a plain brown nest. Painters. Asian elephants, each with a brush in its trunk, are abstract expressionists. 5-ton de Koonings making biomorphic shapes. Do you see the king cobra under fan-shaped leaves, the horns of an antelope, bamboo teaks? Colors capture rolling plains, the Chao Phraya River delta braided into channels that flood rice fields abuzz with mosquitoes. Layers of paint record chaos that finally gives way to the will of the artist shifting her weight. And then we want to conclude by each reading a villanelle that Richard and I wrote to read at our own wedding 10 years ago. And we got married when I was 54 and Richard was 60, and this is about the same age as Robert and Gloria were when they got married. And so we thought that it was appropriate to share our wedding villanelles. We're not far behind them. This one is called Color of the Universe. I can't believe the universe is tan, not red or green or lavender or blue. I feel carnelian when you take my hand, not beige like lima beans from a can, but a splendid electrifying hue. I can't believe the universe is tan. Rose and gold are what I understand when I think of waking up each day with you. I feel carnelian when I take your hand, and like the universe, my love expands, surrounding us with turquoise and chartreuse. Can you believe the universe is tan? A color desolate as lunar sand, and homely as a peanut or cashew. I feel carnelian when we're hand in hand, listening to Pariah play Chopin. The stars all turn cerulean on cue. I don't care if the universe is tan. I feel carnelian as you take my hand.
We decided we would write poems to one another based on a newspaper article that we had seen at the time, that the universe was, at first they thought it was turquoise, and then they decided that the universe, somehow seen in a box from a distance, was actually beige, and it was kind of a letdown. And we both wrote, we didn't tell one another anything about the poems until the wedding, and we both wrote villanelles, not a very common form, so we knew we were meant to be married, or at least that it would probably last. To Lucy. And we both used the same thing from the article, the epitaph, the epigram.
No epitaphs yet.
The universe is really beige. Get used to it. John Noble Wilford. To Lucy. Some stars burn brighter as they age, like maple leaves and apple trees flaming up from green. Alas, the color of the universe is beige. Not peach or pearl or the palest shade of sage, not turquoise as they once thought, so serene. Some stars burn brighter as they age. The love that we have is harder to gauge, but it too burns brighter the later it seems. Does it matter so much if the universe is beige? As a poet breathes sound onto a silent page, your love bathes my days in aquamarine. Some stars burn brighter as they age. Let them light up our lives as we leave this stage and fill our hearts with their triumphant sheen. Who cares if the color of the universe is beige? A bird in flight outshines its silver cage. If the sky's too bright, the stars shine unseen. May our stars burn brighter as we age. Hooray, the color of the universe is beige.
We are Jack and Adele Foley. You can figure out which one of us is which. Robert, it was such a pleasure to write that introduction to your book, because it meant going through your poems again. It was a delight. It's not a problem. I've written intros and blurbs and things like that, and sometimes it's not that easy a thing to do. But in this case, it really was a pleasure. So, well, what happened was we renewed our friendship many years ago, really, when we were both in California. But originally, I knew Robert way back in the 60s when he was teaching at Cornell, and I was actually just telling this story to someone today. I wrote a poem, and I started to call it Orpheus, wasn't sure of that title, and then I wasn't sure if I liked it, and I started to rewrite it, only something took over. And I suddenly found myself, the poem still was Orpheus, but I was taken over by energies that were different from anything I had felt before. It was a very powerful experience for me, but you don't know when something like that happens whether it's any good. You have no easy way to find out. There were no, lighthouses around pointing bits of light at me to tell me, oh, this is a very good line, or this is interesting. The experience was so powerful. It was like that. And though Robert was not my teacher, he was involved with the literary magazine, and I knew him. And you can't tell from looking at him, he's a little older than I am. only a little. So I brought the poem to Robert, and he looked it over, and he told me that initially he was a little put off by the title. He said, back in those days, this was early 60s, he said, poems with a title like Orpheus, they're usually like sonnets, you know what I mean? And he's written some sonnets since then, but back then, that's the kind of thing one said when one felt a little uneasy about a poem. And he knew about the way I felt, that he could tell that it was a powerful experience for me, but at the same time, he could tell my uncertainty about it, because it hadn't happened to me before. Wasn't sure it would happen again. And he said, well, Orpheus, you got him. And this was just what I needed to hear. You got him. We have a little poem for both Robert and Gloria. It's called Early and Lately. 80 and 85.
85 and 80.
Great to be alive.
Alive and waiting.
Wait for 85.
Working at artwork.
There is 80.
Making his heart work.
At divinest poesy.
85 and 80.
So good to be flowers of octogenarianism. That's 85 and 80.
80 and 85.
Caring.
Unvarying.
Spouse con spouse. Workers in imagination's octo.
Flowers.
Both.
Flourishing and stately.
85 and 80. 85 and 85. 85 and 80. Great to be alive, alive and waiting. Wait for 85. Working at artwork. There is 80. Making his artwork at divinest poetry. 85 and 80. So good to be flowers of octogenarianism. That's 85 and 80. 80 and 85. Caring, unvarying, spouse con spouse. Workers in imagination's octo, flowers both, flourishing and stately, early and lately, 85 and 80.
85 and 80.
Muscle.
Hi, Gloria and Robert. You guys are the hippest octogenarians I've ever known. I think everybody here would agree. I met Robert and Gloria in 1994. I was new from the East Coast. I was living over the hill. I went to an autobiography writing workshop with Robert, whom I'd never met, and moved to Santa Cruz within a few months. Just decided I had to be near the university and the ocean, and that really propelled me to move over here, meeting Robert. I hope you won't mind, but there's one, I've read much of Robert's work, I adore his work, and there's one very early poem that I especially love. It's from the Uncle Dog collection from 1962. It's the poem about your mother, and I would like to read it with your permission. It's called What It Was. What it was this. The stars had died for the night and shone, and God also shone, up, straight up, at the very top of the sky. The street was one of the better suburbs of the night, and was a leaf, or the color of one in the moonlit dark. She, my mother, went to the window. It was as late as night could be to her. She looked at the wind, still the wind, never having blown. And in the morning now of sleep, the stars, the moon, and God began once more away into the sky. And she, my mother, slept in her window, in her sky. I love that poem. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Gloria.
Hi, my name is Sun, and I am deeply fond of these two wonderful creative beings who have inspired me greatly in my life. We became good friends through a common friend that we love dearly, which is J.J. Webb, and he is a poet, the first poet on the internet, we think, and he really loved the work of Robert and Gloria so much that he felt his dear friends Alan and Son needed to meet them. And over the years we've been involved in many sharing creative experiences together, where Alan and I were bringing them into some of the technological world and helping them make videos and perform their poetry on the top of our mountain, where Robert taught us about how a man needs a place to stand in the voice of his father. And I think all of us share this incredible, joyous depth to our beings, and that makes us friends, and we delight in seeing each other, and that's just always been there. And I'm so happy that you guys are here for another wonderful celebration of your love and your life and each other. So I brought something because, this is somewhere between Robert's birthday and your anniversary and your renewal of your vows. And so I like to think of Gloria as a birthday present for Robert. And, and I sort of imagined in the early days with, Gloria being so sought after, and Robert being so smitten with her that he really had to protest his love for her. And so I thought I'd bring a little song from one of my favorite musicals to imagine that moment in their lives. So I'll try. Imagine this is Robert singing to Gloria. Perhaps it was Gloria singing to Robert. If ever I would leave you, how could it be in summer? Seeing you in summer, I never could go. Your hair streaked with sunlight, your lips red as flame, your face with a luster that puts gold to shame. But if I'd ever leave you, it couldn't be in autumn. How I'd go in autumn, I never would know. I've seen how you sparkle when fall nips the air. I know you in autumn, and I must be there. And could I leave you running merrily through the snow on a wintry evening when you catch the fire's glow? If ever I would leave you, how could it be in springtime, knowing how in spring I'm bewitched by you so? Oh no, not in springtime, summer, winter, or fall. No, never would I leave you at all.
I'm Hannah, Robert's daughter and Gloria's stepdaughter. And I just want to thank you all so much for coming out. And if this is what 80 looks like, having friends and family come from, far, then bring it on. So I just, again, thank you. And it's just, this gathering, to see Gloria and my dad together after all these years. I shared with it last time. But it's the memory that's so vivid. I just never forget that night my dad came home after he met Gloria. And he went off with flowers and chocolate and a book. And I said, why don't you save the book? But he, being the transparent man he is, brought it all. And, I just remember him coming home and he didn't have to say anything. I didn't need to know how the date went. I just looked at him and I knew. And after that, he would sit under a little desk that we had in the living room and talk on the phone like a I don't know, like a 16-year-old, close to the ear and smiling. And so I want to thank Gloria for joining that dating service, which, that's Gloria. I love it. And so thank you, Gloria, for being who you are, and the joy and what Jonathan had said about really being present, and the gratitude that you have in life for what you have, and her beautiful children and grandchildren and nieces, and Dad for being my poet father. I'm so grateful for you and what you have just naturally, I hope, passed on to me in my own nature, and how I view life, how I'm able, the way I see you, to look out the window and, we'll be talking on the phone, and sometimes, just what he'll share with me about seeing, I don't know, so some story about a deer, but, or the cows, how these cows got lost and they're in the backyard, and that's how, anyway, there's many stories there, and that's one of the greatest gifts that you have given me. So thank you for being my father. Happy birthday, and Gloria. Wow, you guys are married again, or domesticated. It's awesome. That is awesome. And you give me, anyway, I love that. Love happens where you least expect it, and at any age. So thank you again for all being here.
That my siblings and I and some assorted cousins and Robert's family and Kamala and Kelsey. We're going to sing a version that my two sisters hammered out last night. It's a really riveting new version of This Land Is Your Land.
We're like the Von Trapp family singer.
The story's oft told of Mom and Robert, how a gorgeous artist met a gentle poet, both from Chicago and also Jewish. Their love was surely meant to be. She had been forlorn, he had been lonely. They met on meter and traded visas. They talked for hours, attraction growing. Their love was surely meant to be.
Yes, poems were written and art created. Their children and grandchildren would come to visit.
And it was quite clear to all and sundry, their love was surely meant to be.
No! Their home of beauty,
the sea so close by, her paintings many, her art in galleries, his many fine books and poetry readings, their love was surely meant to be. Now you would think all would be perfect, but there was something just not quite right. What was this something, this mysterious something, lacking for people so happy? And then one fine day they knew for certain that life was empty without a poodle. Her name is Cosette, could not be cuter. Their love was surely meant to be. We represent the entire family. We love their Robert and love their Gloria. We are so happy they are together. Their love was surely meant to be.
Love Me Tender. Let's.
And it's on the back
of your book.
Love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfilled. For my darling, dreams come true. Darling, this I know. Happiness will follow you everywhere you go.
Happy almost birthday, Mom. And
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.